Hey all, wanted to talk to you about writing, of course, but in particular today, revision. So I am down here in my office writing, my new office, which is not finished, but yeah, check out the chandelier. Anyway, um, I am hitting a wall, which is I'm maybe 10,000, 15,000 words away from a finished first draft of my new novel, and I am getting this sinking feeling in my gut, which if you're a writer, I'm sure you have experienced, which is that, oh my God, this sucks. Like whatever it is you've written, I'm sure at some point during the process you've had that feeling. So I tend to do this to myself a lot. I tend to think that I need to have the first draft perfect, or there's it's just gonna forever and always be awful, and because of that I often don't finish things. So I don't know if that's a problem you have, but it's certainly something I struggle with. So one way that I've kind of learned to cope with that's been really useful for me, and I hope it could be useful for you as well, is to think about the revision process in terms of layers. So I mean, obviously the first thing to do is to say, okay, the first draft just needs to be a draft, and to let yourself be okay with that. I mean, we all know that, but it's really hard to do. But if you can think of it as the first layer of something that you're building on, to me, that takes some of the pressure off. So what I mean by this, and this is the idea that I'm sort of stealing and tweaking from an old teacher of mine who I talk about a lot, who's wonderful, Robert Boswell. But the idea is that the first draft, he always said this, is just the hardest thing to do, and we want to go back and we want to fix it, we want to make it better, but really you just need to kind of just vomit it out, get it out there. And then once you do that, you can go back through, and for your revision process, instead of just being like, okay, now I have to make it good, think about it a little less holistically, and think about it instead in terms of, again, those layers. So what you're doing then is, for each revision, you're focusing on one thing and one thing only. So for instance, in my book, after this first draft, my next layer, I'm going to go back through and only focus on the killer, because this is a thriller that I'm writing, his POV. And I need to make sure that that's really clean and really clear. And after that, maybe I'll go back through and focus just on plot for revision and make sure there's no holes. Because again, as a thriller, that's really important to make sure all those pieces come together. I mean, layers can be whatever you want them to be, but I think just focusing on one thing per draft, per revision, is really useful. So, it can be you're looking at one particular character. It can be you're looking at one particular element, like time frame or symbolism or metaphor. Sometimes when we write, we're putting things on the page subconsciously that we maybe don't see until we go back and read it, and you find a thread that's really great that you want to tease out. And or you want to go back through and just look at description, maybe for a draft, and just, for every great description, cut two shitty ones. Stephen King always said cut 20%, I think, something like that, of your end product. I think that's good. I think I sometimes need to do maybe more like 30 to 40%. But the point is, as we all know, but I just want to say it again, first drafts don't have to be perfect. They just have to be. And then you go back through, and it's like building a nice cake, layer by layer. You add, you subtract, you kind of shape it into that final product that you need it to be. So that's what I'm thinking about to get me through today's draft, and I hope it's something that you can use. And I will look forward to talking to you guys again soon. And happy writing. I hope it goes well for you. Talk to you soon. Bye.